In hockey, there are no first names.
When you're out there playing, and it's easier just to let the guys know where you are, just with a nickname instead of saying your full name.
And nobody's on a first name basis. It's always nicknames.
On the ice, on the bench, in the locker room,
yeah,
everywhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We know them by their jerseys: Zetterberg, Datsuk, Osgood, Yzerman. But you'd never hear those names in the locker room.
Nick Lidstrom, we call him Swede. Even though we have, 8 Swedes in here, nobody ever looks up when we say Swede. They know who the Swede is.
We heard about this guy called the Demolition Man or something like that, and we're, who's this Demolition guy? And
well, it's either Z or Hank. I think Hank is easy for North American guys.
It's Pav, it's Z, it's Mule, Homer probably.
Oh, why me?
No, not that Homer. Woo-hoo! This Homer, known to us as Thomas Holmstrom. So how do they get these nicknames?
Oh, God. It's always like off the cuff when I think about him. I call Maltz Cliff Clavin now, so like off cheers, because he tells needless stories and just talks nonstop now.
Say something obnoxious. What do you mean obnoxious? I don't know what's obnoxious. You're the so-called expert.
Most of them, are mostly just, last names kind of abbreviated, and those are the ones that have kind of stuck the most.
Would it be more fun, though, if more guys had nicknames like the Mule?
Well, yeah, it's not often you can call a guy a mule, though, so we're happy we have it.
I call the Mule Shrek. He looks like Shrek. If you painted him green, he's Shrek. I gotta look around the room a bit.
Most of the creativity in nicknames don't really come out unless someone does something to warrant it, does something kind of foolish or silly or stupid even, and then you maybe get a nickname from that.
Well, I guess Ozzy kind of went on a little rampage this morning on the riff, and I found out he was calling me Jack LaLanne.
And now, here is the man who will show you how to feel better, look better, Jack LaLanne.
Drapes, I know I call him Jack LaLanne, but I prefer that Chuck Norris off of the Bowflex commercials.
Great workout. Great exercise.
When I grow my beard, I think that it kind of reminds people of Chuck Norris.
And what do players think about their nicknames?
Me? I'll go the worst was Doogie Howser in my first year. I actually hated that name.
About a teenager who was a doctor.
I'd like to have the brains and the smarts, but not the name. Old Man Osgood, that's what they call me sometimes. I don't like that one. If I get grumpy sometimes, like with the young guys, that's what they call me.
So you went from Doogie Howser to Old Man?
Yeah, it's like an evolution.
And in case you're wondering, there are rules to nicknaming.
You can't self-impose a name and then take it and use it.
Is that cheating a little bit?
A little bit, yeah.
If you make up a nickname,
it'd be like me calling myself the Wizard of Oz. It would never fly, and it's embarrassing to say it.
Some people refuse to call them by their nicknames.
My mom is still strictly Christopher. She will not waver from that one bit. Usually when I'm hearing that, I'm in trouble. There hasn't been anyone ever in hockey call me Chris.
I just know the toughest time is when you got your wife around or someone that they don't know and you have to introduce them and you got to remember what their real name is. That's the toughest time for me.
If you're upset with them, what comes out? You probably don't know that
No,
either.
I don't know that. A warm, fuzzy guy like me doesn't get upset that often.
What about Yzerman? Did you have one for him?
No, because you couldn't fool around with him.
Couldn't mess around with him?
No, you can now. But when we play with him, I guess you could, but we never really. It was just Stevie. We stuck with that. It's too much respect. I mean, we respect everybody, but with him, we stuck with that.
What about Lidstrom?
Nick? Just call him Nick.